Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Good morning, and how do you do? How do you do? How do you do? How do you do today? I'll smile at you and I will say, how do you do today? Good morning, friends. Welcome to Circle. I thought this morning, instead of doing a breathing exercise, maybe we could do a little silent meditation. I have noticed that the wind is blowing here a lot today, and I've got my window open, and I've been listening to the different kinds of sounds outside of my window, and I thought that might be a nice thing to do today. So let's start by sitting up nice and tall, and let's have our legs crisscross. You can put your hands on your knees, and you can take a deep breath in and let it out. And let's close our eyes, and we will just have some moments of silence. You can open your eyes if they're still closed. That made me feel so calm. I love listening to the sounds of the birds. Did you hear those birds outside of my window? I wonder if you might have heard some birds outside of your window, or maybe some other sounds of your house. I heard, aside from the birds, I heard a faraway sound of my neighbor's bamboo wind chimes clanking together in the wind. Yeah, you know, sometimes when I'm feeling anxious or worried or upset, I just go outside and I listen to all the different sounds, and that will help me calm down. So I'm glad we practiced that today. Let's sing our months of the year song. Ready? January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, and August, September, October, November, December. Those are the months of the year. And today is Friday, April 10th, 2020. There have been 10 days in the month of April, so we call it April 10th. And it's Friday. Let's sing our Days of the Week song. And when we get to Friday, we can put our hands up. Ready? Days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. 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 Oh my goodness, I almost forgot to put my hands up for Friday. Did you see that? Ooh, I'm glad I remembered. Well, today I would love to share a story with you. I'm going to read you a book today. This is a book about a man that really lived. His name was Henry David Thoreau. And I thought I would read you this book today because I remember yesterday we were talking about the Shakers. Remember that? And we were talking about how they knew how to live a simple life. And Henry David Thoreau, he was not a shaker, but he is another person who enjoyed simplicity. He enjoyed the simple things in life. And this is a book that I think tells the story of how he enjoyed those things and the kinds of things that he did in his life. So I will come up close so you can see this beautiful book. This book is very nice because instead of drawings or other type of art for this book, the illustrator illustrated the book with paintings, and it has some beautiful paintings. I hope you enjoy them. It says, if you spent a day with Thoreau at Walden Pond, that is the title of this story. And the author of the story is Robert Burleigh, and it says paintings by Wendell Miner. So we'll go ahead and open this book. Oh, look at what is on the inside cover. This is a map. It says Walden Pond. This is a map of Walden Pond, and it's got some other labels around it. Have you ever tried to draw a map of your house or of your backyard? That might be a fun thing for you to try to do. Here's the title page. If you spent a day with Thoreau at Walden Pond, by Robert Burleigh, and paintings by Wendell Miner. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would need to get there early because Henry wakes with the sun. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would knock on the door of Henry's tiny house on the shore of Walden Pond. Hello, Henry. I like that rabbit in this painting. You would look inside and see nothing but 3 chairs, a table, a desk, and an old bed. Yet, Henry has just what he needs. That must be Henry. I wonder what this boy's name is. We don't know what his name is, do we? If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would sit on the soft pine needles behind the house and drink cold, fresh Walden water. Living a simple life is the best way to be happy, says Henry. Look at this beautiful painting. See the water behind them? I like the way the artist made it look like the sun is shining through the trees here. You would row out onto the pond, gaze down deep, and glimpse a beautiful gold and emerald fish. Swish! It's gone. Have you ever been in a rowboat like that on the water? You would help Henry weed his bean patch. I like to make the earth say beans instead of grass, Henry says with a grin. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would head down paths that wind back and forth through leafy woods, but Henry knows the way. See those beans growing up the pole? They're pulling the weeds out of that bean garden. You would sometimes stop and listen. Shh, Henry says, holding a finger to his lips. That's a robin calling to his friends. And that gentle song is the coo of a mourning dove. And there's the screech of an angry jay. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would wade in Sandy Pond and let the cool water lap against your feet and feel the sun on the back of your neck.
there's that angry jay. You would point to a hawk high above, soaring and tumbling over and over. So wild and free, says Henry, and he writes it down in his notebook too. See the hawk? It looks like it might be a red-tailed hawk. I see its tail has a bit of a red hue to it. Have you ever seen a red-tailed hawk flying above you? If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would hike past Fairhaven Hill where the huckleberries grow. Pick the ripest ones and nibble them as you roamed. Yum! You would spy from your hiding place a mother partridge shooing her chicks under dry leaves. See them? Look at their tiny brown eyes staring out. See the babies? If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would climb a farmer's fence, shortcut across a pasture, and call out to the cows. He is very close to those cows. You would rest on the grass, lean back, hear the leaves murmur, and feel the soft breeze against your face. Henry calls it dreaming awake. If you spent a day with Henry, you would share a loaf of his homemade bread. After lunch, you would feed bits of cheese to a tiny mouse and laugh as its whiskers tickled your hand. You would follow a fox across the meadow, running far behind it, losing the track but finding it again and again. Be quick, says Henry. You would lie on the ground, staring down, watching an ant war, red versus black. To Henry, little things matter as much as big things. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, you would relax together watching. Late afternoon clouds seemed to float on Walden Pond. Says Henry, smiling. From here, the pond is like a wide open eye staring up at the sky. If you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau, when you left, you would glance back in the gathering dusk and wave. You would see Henry writing in his journal by the light of his kerosene lamp. He would look up and call, "Remember, have an adventure every day." "Goodbye, Henry, and thanks," you would call back with a happy smile, if you spent a day with Henry David Thoreau. What do you think? Is that the kind of day you would enjoy having? I think I would enjoy that day very much. Well, it's time to move our bodies now. So why don't you go ahead and stand up, nice and tall. Stretch out your body. You know, I was thinking today we could play the game Heidi Lou. Remember that game where we sing and we pretend to do things with our friend Heidi Lou? But I was thinking maybe we could pretend to do things with our new friend, Henry David Thoreau. What do you think about that? Okay, let's see. What was something that the little boy in the story did with Henry David Thoreau? Do you remember anything that they did together? Oh, I remember that they were pulling the weeds out of the bean garden. Remember that? Okay, so since you're standing up, you will have to bend all the way down and pull the weeds, okay? All right, so we're going to try to say, let's go pulling weeds with Henry David Thoreau. We'll try to fit all of that in, okay? Ready?
Let's go pulling weeds with Henry David Thoreau. 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 What else did they do together? Do you have another idea? I remember they went picking huckleberries together. Do you like to try picking some huckleberries? Okay, I've got my basket to collect my huckleberries. Huckleberries are very small berries, so we'll have to use our pincer grip to grab these huckleberries. Ready? Let's go picking huckleberries with Henry David Thoreau. 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 That was a lot of syllables to fit in that song. Let's see, one more thing we could do. Oh, I remember they rode in a boat together. They were in a rowboat. Remember that? Why don't you sit down and we can get in our rowboat? Are you in? Okay, I've got my oars, my paddles. You ready? Let's go row a boat with Henry David Thoreau. Let's go row a boat with Henry David Thoreau. Let's go row a boat with Henry David Thoreau. Let's go row a boat with Henry David Thoreau. All right. We can crisscross again. Does your body feel nice after you got to move around a little bit? Mine does too. Well, I thought today, since we're still talking about enjoying the simple things, maybe I could teach you the words to the song that I played for you yesterday. Remember, I played the song Simple Gifts? Maybe we could sing the words, I could teach you the words to that song and then we could sing it together. Okay, so when I teach children a song, I will say the words first. I'll do this and I will say the words by myself and you can listen. And then when I do this, we can say the words together, okay? So we'll just say the words first and then we'll sing the words. All right. 'Tis the gift to be simple. 'Tis the gift to be simple. 'Tis the gift to be free. 'Tis the gift to be free. 'Tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. 'Tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, and when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. It will be in the valley of love and delight. All right, let's try singing it all together, okay? 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. So that's just the first part of the song, but I thought, sometimes it's better to just learn little parts of a song, so maybe there will be another day when I can teach you the rest of that song. But would you like to sing it again and I can play it on the ukulele? We'll have a little music accompaniment. All right. Ready? We'll sing it together. See, sometimes it's easier for me to play like this. Ready? 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, it will be in the valley of love and delight. All right. Thanks for singing that with me. It makes my heart feels so happy when I play the ukulele. I feel really happy now that I'm learning a new instrument. Feels good. Well, friends, it's time to say goodbye. And I thought today, because it's Friday, I'll do something a little bit different. Well, I do different things every day, don't I? But I'll do something different today, and I'm going to read you a goodbye poem. This morning I thought I would like to work on my cursive writing, and I wrote this poem down on this pretty blue paper. So I'll read it to you. It's called Hug a War. It's by Shel Silverstein. I will not play tug-a-war. I'd rather play hug-a-war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. Bye, friends. I will see you on Monday.